We're live. Woohoo!
Live with a guest
Live
which is in the
from New
city.
York. Actually, no,
Yeah,
he's in New Jersey. He's across the river. But because I love him like the sister I never had, he is
yeah,
live from, in this case, Hoboken, where the Cake King is. He'll tell you
right.
all about the Cake King. It was a reality show here on some channel. And I remember
Yeah,
he used to be like, the Cake King is busy. And I'm like, who the hell is the Cake King? So then I watched it once and I was not hooked. So we have with us
okay.
Johnny P. Johnny P is our resident Debbie Downer. And we even made a little ticker for Johnny. So when he comes
Yeah,
on, long time Debbie Downer. Johnny's very blunt and to the point. So today I think we're talking about FIFA and crypto, covered the topics for the year of 2021. And
yeah,
this show, I think, airs on the 20th of December. So it's almost like our year-end show. And John's been on the show before.
okay.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
And I suppose you could say to John in the nicest possible way, he's one
let's not get carried
he's
away.
the yeah, he's the ultimate critic. He's sort of always, as you and I sort of drift off into strange places, John always
Yes.
has his feet on the ground. So
Well, he's got his
yeah,
feet somewhere. So
yeah, get a pleasure to have John on the show. So
should we let him in? Should we let him in?
let the audience see,
Bask
let the
in his
dog see the
glory.
rabbit. Let the dog see the rabbit. Eh?
Let the dog see the rabbit. And there he is, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey, John.
Johnny
Hey,
P, or better
how
known as
you?
Johnny Philippot, or
Yeah,
as
okay.
we like to call him, longtime Debbie Downer. So,
Yeah, let's just keep it to John.
Johnny P. What's
Yeah,
up, Johnny P?
God, World Cup. That's what's going on. Not in
Do
the last
you want
week.
to? It's still this week. It ends 2 days after the show airs. So let's just talk about what's
Yeah,
going on so far. Here's I have a thing about the World Cup. Forgetting the gay thing with the armbands and forgetting the German team putting their hand over the mouth so the supermarket wouldn't pull out of the World Cup and forgetting all their egregious crimes from 1974 until yesterday. Um, the ranking system, as we say, sucks cock because the Guyana team is ranked last. And Guyana
Yeah.
team has the top 5 players in the world on it. The Guyana team kicked South Korea's butt the other day. So I think the ranking system is just as corrupt as the FIFA is.
well,
Look,
how
So
come?
there you go.
Well, they must be in the top 32 to have been
No,
invited.
no, they're under that. They're like whatever the very bottom ranking is in the global standing. Guyana's there, but 5 of their guys play for the Premier League, and
Gu-
so they're like boom,
Guyana.
boom, boom.
Okay. Well, all right.
That's a team in Africa. Africa's a continent, John. No
Yeah.
white people.
No,
So
you
because
mean Ghana, not
Ghana,
Guyana.
I like that.
Guyana is in South America. Let's
Yeah,
let's
it's all the
let's.
same shit. Ghana, Guyana.
Yeah.
It begins with a
Listen.
G. I don't care.
Yeah, but
So
Yeah.
there were
John, don't
different
show us
sorts
the
of
top of your head. You'll scare people. So
Yeah.
different
Look.
different different sorts of Guyana. Them Dutch Guyana, French Guyana,
yeah,
British
Yeah.
Guyana.
yeah.
Right. Yes. Yeah.
So it's
Let's
one of
let's not
those.
let's not confuse. Right.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
so
listen,
so
it's the thing,
then
it's the place in Africa. You can't miss it. It's in a
Yeah.
whole continent, but they're
Yeah.
ranked last. And
Because the
apparently,
rankings don't matter.
I understand that, but it does
yeah,
matter when you go to have to draw who
how
you play.
no, that
yeah,
doesn't. You have the.
rankings don't matter because if you've seen Argentina play,
They suck cock.
you know that rankings and England for that matter,
Yes,
you can
sir.
see that the rankings don't pay.
Look, yeah, the rankings don't matter because when it comes when you enter the World Cup, it all goes out the window. Look, we've seen it. We've seen it the past World Cup when Argentina also lost to I forget who they lost to, but was it no
Well,
Croatia?
I'm
We
just
lost
happy
to
they lost, John.
Yeah, I know you do. But they lost to Croatia. This time, Argentina opens and loses to Saudi Arabia. But it's you have to play the 3 matches, and that's how it all equals out. And
Yeah.
then the
Talk,
experience of
talking talking of equaling out, how about the rest? How about the ref who saved the match ball from the infamous hand of God match against
yeah
England and then sold it for a shitload of money, like $3 million or something.
yeah
Yeah.
well.
Did you buy that, John? That's what I want to know. That's the burning question. Did you buy that ball from the
Did
infamous
that
hand of God?
yeah, it's in my vault. Yeah.
With your Nazi gold? Is it with your
Yeah.
vault Nazi gold? Okay, just checking.
Yeah. Do
So
I have?
we
Can
may,
I have? Can I share audio from my computer on the show or no?
you can. We can also mute you on the show too. So just keep that in mind. So let's not what you
Yeah,
call it.
yeah.
Let's not
Hey,
get carried away. Yes.
yeah. Let's not get carried away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So
so anyway,
look.
John, banter aside, how have you been enjoying it? Because strangely enough, and I've been watching it most evenings because we like a good live match of football, and even some of the neutral games. I mean, last night was we watched Portugal Uruguay, which turned
Right.
out to be quite a pithy little game
Yeah.
in the second half. After they
Pithy.
met
I'm
up,
sorry. Pithy.
Yeah.
Pithy.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Look, when the World
It's a,
Cup comes
so,
around, I watch back. You know, timetable permitting, I watch every
Right.
game. So I adhere the I catch the first match, which starts at 5 usually in the morning. Then I catch the 10 o'clock or 11 o'clock, then the 2 o'clock. Yeah, so I watch all the games because
yeah,
I find it. There's always some interesting matches, right? Like the one that was
yeah,
3-3.
exactly.
What was it?
Yep.
Senegal, wasn't it Senegal Ghana?
Yeah, Senegal,
Yeah.
no, Senegal, South Korea, was it not?
Oh
Which
no, it
put
was
the South Koreans
Senegal.
out.
No, wasn't it? Wasn't it
Oh no, that was
Ghana,
yesterday. It was
Serbia?
Ghana.
Ghana, Serbia, 3-3.
Yeah,
So, uh, yeah, this is the stage where everybody starts getting a little desperate. So you need to score, win games. It becomes interesting. Yeah. So
yeah.
So who
And
do you
so,
root?
so
So who are
what?
you rooting for though, John? Who do you want to win the cup?
look, I always want Argentina to win the cup. That's number one. Yeah, that's
You have your roots in Argentina, John? I mean, you're a US citizen, I know, but
no, I'm not a
so
U.S.
why
citizen.
the you're not?
No,
Okay, well we'll
no.
stop there. Stop recording there straight away, Stephen.
Okay,
Giving away
fine. That's it. All right.
state secrets now.
Yeah,
That's
I
right.
should be banned. I'll have
yeah,
Europol all over my ass now.
There you
yeah.
go.
So yeah, I got lots of family in Argentina. So yeah, it's
Okay,
that's number
yeah,
one.
so it's
Yeah, I want
yeah.
Argentina to win. Yeah, it's always heartbreak though. Um,
Yeah, we'll join the club. It's like
yeah,
I'm a long time Ipswich Town supporter,
yeah. In the
and an
UK,
And
England,
an
yeah,
England supporter, so we know what pain feels like. That's for sure.
Listen,
yeah,
I'm a longtime Mets supporter. New York.
yeah.
It's just so everybody realizes I'm
But
New York because they not know I'm there. You want to talk about pain? That's pain. Okay.
yeah,
So
but let's
So
make let's settle this once and for all. It's
what?
not called soccer; it's
It's
football.
football. I
Yeah,
call it
yeah,
football.
yeah.
No, we call
yeah.
it football, John. We
Okay,
know what
all
we're
Well,
right.
it
talking.
was
Yeah.
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 it was it came about. I understand because when
Yes.
rugby football
Right.
went to the US, then they sort of morphed into American football. But soccer, because is a shortening of the word association. So it was Football Association. And to differentiate the two between the rugby football and the Football Association, the word soccer came about. When it moved to the US or
Uh,
crawled into the US,
Well,
which
I
I
have
say,
wait, John. How do you pronounce Adidas? Do you say Adidas or Adidas?
uh, Jesus, I used to call it Adidas, but I
It's
find
Adidas.
Adidas.
Adidas,
Yeah,
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 Adidas. Yeah.
Adidas.
yeah, Adidas. Yeah.
I'm teaching
I
all my American friends that you have to pronounce it
After
right.
the
And
Kanye
Puma,
West imbroglio, let's call it.
Yeah.
I was educated on. Oh, that's how you say I thought it was Adidas. Now I'm hearing Adidas. Okay.
When I was a
Adidas,
kid, my whole life
Yeah.
it was Adidas, and then when I went to my first travel to Australia for a business deal was in the late '90s. And I'm sitting in a meeting, and a guy kept going. After this, we're going to go to the Adidas store. We're going to go to the Adidas. We're going to go to the Adidas. And I leaned over to one of my buddies. I go, dude, what's Adidas? He goes, oh, you guys call it Adidas. He says, but it's pronounced Adidas. And then they told me the whole
Adidas.
Adidas,
lineage
yeah,
between them and
Yeah.
Puma and blah blah blah. I'm like, oh,
yeah.
cool. So
The two brothers,
the two
so
brothers, yeah. So
yeah.
people
So
don't know
yeah.
that. So very
So
cool.
yeah, I'm hoping that Argentina at least makes it to the next round.
Okay.
Yeah,
Well, the good thing
I'm
is
still.
this show airs on the 20th, so no one will know.
No, No, and I'll be dead by then because I've nearly had a heart attack to find out that Johnson's sort of a very very quiet Kanye West fan by the sound of it because
Wow.
he's been following all these do's and don'ts. I think, John.
Yeah.
Tell us
Now, John,
about your love for Kanye West, John.
Yeah, there you go. That's a whole story. I think
there's no
there's
love.
no love there.
It's just he's a character.
We've found something that even Stephen won't speak about. My God.
Yeah, I will not. No.
He's running for president, and I think
No, he already did that.
He asked Trump to be his vice president.
Oh, really?
Right.
Well, that's what you would call it. That's definitely
That's
dumb
a
and
match
dumber.
made in heaven. That's
That's something. All right.
So he's interesting.
He's something. He's something. I think is the way to put it, John. I don't think interesting is a word I would describe him, but something is
something. Good. Yeah, he's definitely
he's something.
So yeah,
he's something.
So soccer for
Football.
those who can't pronounce the word football, it would seem.
Football.
Football. Yeah,
football. Just good old fashioned footy. We just call it footy. Now we know what it's.
Yeah.
Listen, it's very interesting for I know like here in Austin they have their Austin team, their FC, which is interesting. But if you actually ask them, do they really know anything about football? They know nothing. And having been lucky enough to do some football transactions in the UK, we learned all about football. So they don't think in these states they realize that in the UK and the rest of the world they literally recruit kids at 6, 7, 8, 9 and put them in programs. And then, they live at the campus and they do this and they do that and they really groom them. So when they're 18 or 20 or like a David Beckham, whenever, you can go out and be a star. And I don't think they understand how.
From 16, Steve, you can play.
Yeah. Well, right. But I'm just saying, as a kid, though, you can live at their campuses, you can do this. And what it was interesting to me when we were reviewing contracts, you as a team. So if I got John when he was, say, 7 years old, like he signs away X% of his rights, salaries to us for life. And then, if he gets traded and makes whether it's £1 million or 50 billion pounds, we get a percentage of that because we trained him. So whether it's with us or somebody else. So when some of these documentaries on Netflix or whatever, where they show the trades and whatever, it's such at a high level because I guess the minutia nobody really wants to see. But if you really get into the minutia of how that's done, that's a whole nother side of the business.
But is that not done the same way as a baseball or an American football contract? Because they're all 360. They're kind of 360s anyway, aren't they?
I think so. I think there's
a lot of money.
No, if I'm playing for football, let's say, and I'm playing for the Dallas Cowboys, and I have a $5 million contract, and they want to trade me, the team that takes me buys out my remaining contract or whatever's negotiated. So there's not a drag along. My management company gets a percentage and my lawyers and everything. That's your drag along. But UK, especially all of European football, there's a drag along from that's indentured servitude. Like you never pay that off till you retire.
Well, no, but I mean, the idea, of course, is to encourage the trickle down because you have.
No, I got that.
You have these like tiny little clubs which gave these kids a break. Maybe they had a couple of cup games. They got scouted by somebody. And some guy's been out there while it's been pouring down with rain, freezing his nuts off, training all these kids. And it's nice to see at least a little bit of that money, trickle down to the lower league clubs.
I'm not arguing that point. I think it's great that they do it. I think Americans don't know how it's done. People in Europe and Asia understand it.
It can be abused, of course, as well. That's the other side of it, because and you see some of the later on. I mean, Beckham, for instance, when he went to Real Madrid, he only wanted to sign the deal because he wanted to use the number 23 because he said his wife told him that was a recognized hot number. And he wanted to have his own image rights, which really upset Real Madrid because they were already busy, doing lots of merch with his images on it. So, I mean, some of these guys are a little bit more switched on.
Yeah, well, I think his wife was more switched on because she came out of the Spice Girls, so she understood, I think, marketing and whatever and however all that works. But now they're all switched on. Now college athletes here in the States get paid for their likeness and their rights all that stuff. So it's very interesting.
When Kevin De Bruyne, when he re-signed for Manchester City, his manager was his father, and
Right.
between them, and they went into all of his stats, and so they presented Manchester City with this document that says this guy runs so many kilometers in every match,
Right, right.
and this is his market value, and this is what you're going to pay. And of course, it also it's great that he's also a superstar as well.
Right.
Yeah, so there's a lot of these people who are sort of thinking, okay, it's not for nothing that your mum or your dad's your manager.
The manager, yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't hurt. Listen, family watches out for family.
Yeah.
That's how it works. So, yeah, it could be worse. But
But
yeah, well, let me ask you this, John. What do you think of FIFA overall? And what do you think of Qatar having the World Cup? Because you're like, I've known you for 20 years. And since I've known you, you watch the World Cup. I watch it, like a US person. I'm like, oh, look, me. I like it. I watch it on Telemundo because I like when they go goal for 17 minutes. And then I have the American television side on so I can understand what's going on. So, and John knows that because we go back and forth. And Telemundo is usually about 3 seconds ahead of the US television. So I see the goal and I'm listening to it and it's pretty funny. But anyway, so what do you think about Qatar getting it and the bribery charges and the human rights and the gay thing? And not that it's a bad or good thing. I'm just saying that they wouldn't let them wear the rainbow, which I think is pathetic. And what do you think the German team with the covering of the mouth? What do you think of all that? Anything, or you just like doesn't care because that's not football?
Look, yeah, I completely ignore it. It's just okay. So Qatar getting the World Cup. So yeah, okay. So there was bribery. There always is, right? Because now it takes billions of bucks to host it, right? You got to put all these stadiums, and you got to put all these infrastructure, and
well, that's not true. If we host it in the United States, we don't have to do any. We have stadiums, we have infrastructure. It doesn't cost anything.
Okay, but
it's going to the US and Canada in 26, I think.
Yeah, that's right.
Very exciting.
So but still, it's an expensive proposition, right? If Brazil had to put it on, okay, yeah, they have the stadiums, but they got, you got to spend some money, and
right.
I don't know.
You got to fly hookers in. You got to bring apparently beer, not in the stadiums in Qatar. So
Look, so I went to Qatar. Maybe it's good. I have no complaints. Okay, so the liberal side of the world, of the Western world, wants to, use the World Cup as a platform for their,
you're going to say gas supply now. You're going to say gas supply.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I was going to say that it's a good side benefit that Qatar is one of the world's largest gas exporters, LNG exporters, and Europe's freezing their kahunas, or will soon, right? So that's a good side benefit, but this whole thing of the kneeling down, I don't know, the mouth and the flag, just I don't know.
Well, taking the knee, they've been doing in the Premiership for a while. I mean, that came over from the US.
Oh yeah, that's right.
That was Kaepernick out of the Giants. He did that. Then he got fired.
So that came over. That came over from the US. But
I say, just keep that. All right. Do you want to make a point? Fine. Just
But do you think they should have? Do you think they should have said to them, "No, you can't do it," or just be like, "Listen, again, here's how I look at it," and I don't know. I think if you let them have their protests and get it over with, it's over with. And when you say no, and I'm not taking FIFA's side on this at all. I think they should have been able to wear the armbands and all of that. But I think if you do it this way and you make this big international scene, then what happens is these people start looking under the kimono and it's like, oh yeah, what about the 6,500 people that died building all the stadiums from like Bangladesh and India? What about? So I think for FIFA and Qatar, sometimes it's like, let them just do it. They want to protest, let them do a protest, be done with it. And now there's an article in the FT that was saying a lot of people are flying over to the UAE because they're having like beer bashes, big fields with beer and whatever. And there's no beer in the stadium. There's no this. You can probably find alcohol in hotels there. So I don't think Qatar, as much as they wanted the world to see them, I don't think Qatar was really ready to have. I'd rather this be at the UAE. I think they're ready because they have a lot of Westerners.
Yeah.
Not a lot of Westerners are flying to
Well,
Qatar unless they have
what's
to.
interesting,
Doha?
Stephen, about the Westerners side of it. What's interesting is we're actually seeing for the first time stadiums full of Africans
Yes.
and African nations. So it's a completely different atmosphere.
Yep.
And a lot of these games, they unfortunately they do end up with crowd violence.
Yeah.
Certainly when the English like to go, drink a lot and fight. So it's been a slightly
Different
different
game.
sort of an atmosphere to see.
Yeah.
And nobody's boycotting and nobody's this and nobody's that. It's just sort of like if you guys are supposed to represent I guess the biggest game or sport on the planet, which I guess is football, not U.S. football, but soccer/football, then you really need to like clean house and do stuff. And that guy, whoever's running FIFA, when his 55-minute speech when it opened was basically a blowjob to Qatar, and I'm like, dude, you got to stop. It's like
Well, do you know why, Stephen? He's living there.
Oh, that's so good. Explain a lot.
Because
I'd be doing that daily as well.
he is actually from Switzerland,
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
but he's actually under I was trying to find the word in English now. He's actually being investigated in Switzerland.
Oh, for the bribery, so he has to be in
Yeah.
a non-traditional country. Okay, well that
Yeah.
explains why you're giving head to them. Okay.
Yeah, so that's why he's not in Switzerland. 'Cause that's why that bullshit story about I know what it's like to be
Please, prosecuted.
discriminated.
Yeah, whatever. Idiot.
Yeah.
So he's had to live in Qatar for tax reasons probably.
But at the end of the day,
At the end of the day, really, John? Something you want to tell us?
Yeah.
At the end of the day, yes. At the end of the day, look, if you ignore all that, you just watch the games.
Yeah, it's fun.
I don't know. I don't really care. I mean, okay, he got bribed, sure. But let's face it, there's bribery and corruption all over the place.
Oh, there is. I never knew this, John. This is very upsetting
yeah.
knowing that. I'm
Yeah.
gonna cry.
I mean, so because you wanted to talk about crypto, let's talk.
Oh, and now we're going to start talking about crypto. Do you want to talk about the downfall of FTX or BlockFi?
Just one last thing about the football yesterday. Did you see that there was a protester who came onto the game, Uruguay, Portugal?
No, I didn't see that.
Yeah, we didn't. That's it. It's all in the English press. We've got photographs of him. He's an Italian guy. He's been doing this at a lot of World Cups.
Oh yes.
And he has his Superman T-shirt on with hashtag Ukraine, hashtag.
Wait. Is that like the guy in the States that used to have John 3:16 with the big hair at all the football games would stand there with a sign when they would kick the ball, the field goal? There'd be a guy in the 80s maybe. They would have a John 3:16 sign with big fuzzy hair. Yeah. So same thing.
So that's the one thing. And the other thing which has been hitting the European press big time is the Chinese state government's coverage of the football, because there has been no close-ups since. There were a few right to start off with, but been no close-ups on Chinese state television of the crowds.
Really?
Because what's happening is that when the other European feeds are looking at the crowds, the Senegal dancers, and, people dancing and waving their scarves and doing all that sort of stuff. None of that. You're seeing people in the dugout. You're seeing officials, because China still wants to maintain that the whole world is under the influence of COVID-19, and that everybody has to wear a face mask. So look out for that. That's one of those.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and this is one of the things which is helping to fuel the current issues at the moment for the lockdown in China.
Yeah, that's why people are rioting now.
Yeah, because all of a sudden people didn't sort of think too much about it, and now, strangely enough, the World Cup has lit the tinders, because people are saying, "Hello, they're not wearing face masks, guys."
Right. I think
anyway.
also, they're. I mean, well, let's just be realistic. I think 10% of China is under lockdown. And everybody in the West gets very excited. Oh, there's going to be a change of the
No,
no.
No one gets excited about anything in China because Zhao is basically dictator for life, so he's not
They'll
going anywhere,
will
and that's it.
obliterate them like you know, I don't know what's the expression, but they'll
I
chop
was
them
going to say
down.
like I was going to make an Argentinian joke, and I'm like,
They're gonna
that's
mow
not
them
appropriate.
down. Yeah,
You heard about the new Argentinian Navy? It has glass bottom ships to see the old Argentinian Navy. It's very nice. Yeah. So
yeah.
they got submarines with screen doors. There you
Yeah.
are on top of
Uh,
things like you don't even know. So,
yeah.
Yeah.
all right,
Anyway, John,
John, let's get into
the
the
real
crypto.
reason, yeah, so the real reason why we got you on because we know that you have an opinion about cryptos, and so
Oh God.
Because
so
John
tell
is
Yeah.
long time Debbie Downer.
okay.
No, look,
So
look.
tell us
Let's.
why the shit has hit the fan.
Well,
Yeah.
wait,
Look.
before we do that, let's explain what's going on. I think BlockFi last night, which is a Peter Trell company or whatever, is filing bankruptcy because of the FTX debacle. Um, Everything's plummeting. So here's my first statement before we get into this. So in the 80s, and you guys won't remember this, but there was a company called Zbest, triple ZBEST, and they did carpet cleaning and they did an IPO and it was all a scam. There's
Yeah.
a whole book on it, right? So there was Zbest. After Zbest, there was Enron. And then between that, there was all the banking bullshit. And after Enron, now we have FTX. So my real question is, at what point to either the auditors, because the auditors are idiots, we know that. At what point do the auditors or the general public wake up and go, what the fuck? And this is the problem, right? There's nobody paid attention. I mean, listen, you're making money out of nothing. All right, and that's great. That's what investment banks do. But at least there's something at the end of there's an asset somewhere. They're literally making money out of nothing, and then they all jumped aboard the bandwagon, and now they're all shocked. And I don't think people think through when they make these investments. It's like I told a friend of mine who wanted to play in the crypto market. I go, listen, what's your game? What's your Vegas money? And I said, great, you take that, you play in crypto. Because if you lose it, it's the same as going to Vegas, right? You
Right.
lose it,
Yeah.
who cares? Crypto was Vegas money, and it still is to me Vegas money. I don't think it'll take many years, I think, for it to become something viable. But I think all the governments are working on their own digital currency, so who knows? But it was the best Ponzi scheme out there. And then you have this FTX thing, and I read the art. There's a huge story a couple days ago in the Financial Times about it. They were just like a playground for like little kids. And I don't, it's Enron was the same. Z Best was the same. Are the auditors, are they that lazy? People are that stupid, but like, what is it? I mean, so nothing here is shocking me, and all the fallout from this is not. I'm like, yeah, okay, it is what it is. There's nothing there.
It's just look. It's when it comes to all of these money, financial things. It's just a repeat of human nature, right?
Fear of missing out.
It's greed and fear, right?
Yep. Yeah, but
And
is it's a
but
stupidity though, John?
crypt,
Stupidity.
crypto is it just plays on that. You We come up with a new technology to technology is great. The blockchain, it has all these features. It has a lot of good things, and maybe it shakes up the let's call it the old financial system. Because if you
Right.
send a wire to another country, it used to take a couple of days. They still charge you a pretty penny to do it. And if it shakes that up, I think that's great. The other aspect of it is if you're in Argentina or China or any place that starts putting capital controls, this is a way to maybe circumvent that, or get around it. After all, it's your money, so why is the government trying to stop you from saving it? Because it's, for instance, Argentina, 100% inflation. You want to do something
Right.
with your pesos that are really worth nothing. So maybe you want to buy crypto, right? So and then you can convert it back to something that you think has value. But the whole crypto thing is, FTX. I mean, the guy is still running around free. It just shows you the level of corruption that we have, right?
Right.
5 congressmen, sent a letter to the SEC because the SEC was starting to maybe investigate FTX. This
Right.
is back in the beginning of the year, and said, stop doing this. What are you doing? You're killing innovation. All the little sweet little ideas that congressmen come up with when they've been
Right.
bought by FTX. Because FTX, SBF, the guy that was running it, I think the third largest donor to the Democratic Party. So basically, was trying to buy himself, political favors, and he got it, and he still has it because he's free, the bugger, right? Uh,
But
you
he's
know,
free right now because they're not saying that there's fraud yet. They're just saying there's stupidity where Z Best was outright fraud, and so is Enron. So
yeah.
right now, I don't think people know if there was actual fraud or just stupid, because
Now,
they were like leveraged 1,000 times against whatever assets they have. And now they're finding money all over the world in 100 different sub companies and bank accounts and subsidiary accounts. They're finding billions of dollars that were hidden.
when you
But
when you create 136 companies
right.
for for what's supposed to be a pretty straightforward business,
Mhm.
there's something more to it than just commercial strategy. Okay,
Right,
let's
right,
just
right.
stop there. Second, when the parents of SPF have a $16 million condo in the condo complex in the
Yep.
Bahamas, and
No,
there's
no,
a
it was
there
40 million. It was 40 million, John, not 16, 40.
no, but the parents have this, what, they have a $40 million apartment.
The guy and one of his things and his girlfriend from another exchange has
Yeah,
a $40 million penthouse, which I guess takes up the whole floor. The
yeah,
Financial Times had a great story on it. I didn't know his parents had like a $16 million
yeah,
condo
they do,
below.
and they're
Okay.
MIT professors. Okay, so maybe they
Okay.
got some consulting,
Wow,
but they
they
don't.
made they made a lot of money as MIT
Yeah.
professors.
So bullshit is what I say.
All
You
right.
know, corrupt to the hilt. And this guy bought himself his freedom. He paid for it.
Right.
He put 40 million bucks to Democratic stooges out there, right? And they sent a letter
Okay.
to the SEC, and all these little things that we see. That they bought real estate. But
Right.
here's the wonderful thing. I come up with this exchange. Okay, I have an exchange. Okay, interesting. You can
Mhm.
buy and sell crypto. Okay, so we can buy and sell monopoly money that we just created out of thin air. So
Right.
they created this FTT token, right? Okay, I just create a little piece of. We start trading it between each other, and then I fund I create a company which is basically a hedge fund,
Right.
and I loan them, tokens, and I
Right.
value them, and I create a
A
value
value.
for the
Right.
token. I mean, it's just, come
Yeah.
on,
Well, one of the
and
hedge funds actually that wasn't, excuse me, created by them is having problems because now everybody wants their money out, and they had to stop that because it's like we don't have enough to cover. I mean, back in the olden days, I remember a dollar in, dollar out. What is it now? A dollar in, $50 million out. I mean, come on. I mean, at some point, an auditor, whether it's the SEC, like one of the three auditing firms, someone's got to be like, this isn't right. Now all the
yeah,
auditors are going back and the article yesterday in the Financial Times was like all the audit firms are literally now shitting bricks. They're all going back and looking at what they did wrong. And we had an auditor 20 years ago, and I remember the kid that came to audit us literally just got out of university. I think they maybe just got their CPA. And during the audit, they asked us like, "How would you like us to book this?" And I looked at them and I go, "Isn't that your job?" And they looked at me like, I go, "Get a partner in here." And I said, "Don't ever send me a 14-year-old again." And that's the problem, right? Everybody, like they go to university, they learn nothing. They
yeah.
don't even know what a
Forget.
T account is. So then how are they going to audit something that complex? If you
No,
don't
no,
have a brain, how do you do it?
yeah, no, I don't think it's complex. It's just
No, no, for
it's
them,
just like.
apparently it is, but it's an asset. There's a liability. I mean, but they don't see that you have more liabilities than
No,
you
no,
have
I don't think
assets.
the auditors just do what the client says in this case, But the,
Yeah,
the real fallout here is the SEC and the CFTC. They're a bunch of fucking wimps,
right,
They don't, because you got a bunch of congressmen or people who say, no, you're killing innovation, and the U.S. will be left out of. Yeah, but look, if it's a fraud, there's no the technology is still here,
Right.
That's not going away. If we close down, some bullshit crypto exchange that just doesn't do anything, doesn't add anything really.
Right.
If crypto was accepted as payment for taxes, then things would change.
Right.
Then it has some value. But when it's just you and me trading between each other,
Right.
I say it's 10. No, you say it's 11. Okay, I'll sell it to you at 11.
Right.
Johnny, okay, I say it's 12 and a half. Look, did I tell you that I could also earn money on crypto? I was reading about this.
Right.
They call it yield farming or
Yep.
stacking, right? I mean, come on, it's just I
You
created a bunch of
tell us a bit. I was going to say,
Tell
John,
us what
tell us
that.
a
Tell
little bit
everybody
about
what
that.
that is, John. That doesn't know what that is.
so
Yeah.
I'm not saying I know it well, but my understanding here is, you have crypto, and you can earn a percentage of more crypto by basically, uh, what they call is that you free you basically loan it to a crypto pool, or an exchange that creates a crypto pool, and then they use that to trade basically, eh, and try and provide liquidity,
Right.
buy and sell. And so they use your crypto, and you get crypto in exchange. Right?
So
That's
basically, it's what the banks do. They borrow from the
yeah,
Fed, and
yeah,
they're using make believe money to try to do the same thing,
right. Yes.
and that's the
uh,
problem.
and then the staking is, it's sort of it's pretty much the same thing, for you to you so the more money you put into crypto, uh, that creates a bigger stake, and you freeze that, and again, an exchange uses that as collateral to do other trading. I'm sure I got it 90% wrong, but it's you know
That's okay. So
uh,
did the crypto market. It just FTX. They went bankrupt, so it's okay. So
so it's just it's it's a form of then creating a loan based on something
make
uh,
believe.
that's make believe, but somebody's putting up the make believe money, the crypto money.
The
Uh,
crypto algorithm. But it's not
so
even money. It's not even a hard asset. It's an algorithm. You know what I mean? It's like
yeah,
I forgot one of the states in the United States made crypto mining now illegal because I guess of the power consumption and whatever and yada yada yada. And I remember I talked to someone a couple years ago that was doing a mining farm, and I was like, seriously? And he's like,
yeah,
yeah. And I'm like, yeah, that's just crazy. But it's really funny because during the lockdown, when everybody COVID's right, 2 years, all this exploded because everyone thought it was the end of the world. And so
yeah.
now
I
that the
mean,
world's getting back to normal, it's not so much the end of the world, unless you put
yeah.
your money
So
with these guys and lost it all.
it's you basically, when you do staking, you basically you allow somebody else to use your crypto
Right. Your
token
asset.
currency, your
Yeah.
asset, for them to you know to to then go and do other stuff with it. Put it up as collateral, do trading, whatever it is that, uh, the I would say the exchange that holds your asset wants to do.
Right.
Um, I just find it, if you talk to people that are into crypto, and there's a lot of people that are extremely smart about, that are in this world, will say, look, it's the next thing. I just don't see the 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 next thing with crypto, other than a few things that we've just mentioned.
Right.
Uh, you're trying to. It's sort of like it's 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 a problem needing. What's the expression? Um,
It's not
uh,
solving any problems.
no, it's not solving any problems,
Right.
uh, right now, other than a few of those, capital restrictions that you have, like in countries like China, Argentina.
Right. But
The,
even there,
the
there's cracking down on it, and you can't, do certain things, and it's a whole thing. So I don't know if it. I think it's cool that people want to try to different ideas, but that seems to me that's like I said, that's Vegas money. So if I want to piss away just say 10 grand and I don't want to go to Vegas, I would buy crypto then. Sure. Why not? What's the worst that happens? Because if I go to Vegas and play craps and I lose my 10,000, I get a meal and
Yeah.
a show out of it. If I stay
So-
home
so-
and piss away $10,000, it's the same crap at the end of
Can
the
we
day.
just backtrack a little bit on this then? So I've got real money. I've got euros,
Yeah.
10,000 euros, and I take that to an exchange.
Right.
Yeah, and then I get I can purchase in a crypto token for the same value, or same amount of tokens for the same value as my 10,000 euros. Or is that right?
Well,
So what happens
Yeah.
then? I'm giving somebody real money,
right.
and I'm getting a digital token
Asset.
in return.
Yeah, digital assets, I guess.
Yeah.
Right.
So what happens to all the real money then?
Somebody on the other side's sitting there with 10,000 euro, my friend.
Yeah. Somebody
Okay.
thinks, yeah, they're
Yeah.
happy to take your euro. Maybe not. Most of these people are a true, I don't know, it's
Crypto
sort of like
believers.
yeah, it's like a religion. It's like a cult. Uh, it's they'll reinvest it and buy something else. Now
Yeah.
there's what, thousands of different tokens and
Yep.
Yeah.
cryptocurrencies.
Yep.
It's everybody coming up with a project, as they call them, and
Right.
I'm going to create my own currency, crypto, whatever the name you want to give it, and I'm going to create something, and I'm going to become a billionaire. And
So-
And the
so
kid
let's
the kid from FTX actually did, and then now he's
Let's just do that very quickly then, John. So you say to me, David, give me 10,000 euros, and I'm going to give you a John token. Yeah.
right, yeah,
Or yeah, let's say 10,000 John tokens. Now, what do I need to do then? Do I need to go and tell Steve to do exactly the same, or do I need to sell my 10,000 to him for 12,000? I mean, how does all that? What I think a lot of the listeners
Yeah.
and the viewers of this will be interested in is how does this whole, I was going to use the word scam, but I'm not going to. How does this whole process
scam. How does this scam work, John? That's what he's asking. How does this
Yeah.
scam work?
how does it gather so much traction? Apart from the fact that everybody doesn't want to miss out, but at that very first stage, somebody is saying to me, "Give me real money, and I'll give you funny money back."
yeah.
Now, does that mean that I'm a complete schmuck for doing that,
Yes.
No,
or does
well,
it mean that I'm extremely clever because I want to get involved in something which is possibly going to make me?
So
a fortune?
here's the first question I would ask if you're a schmuck or not. Do you need the $10,000? Yes or no?
Yeah, well,
Is it-
it's my life savings because
Then you're
I have a
then
very
you're a schmuck.
I have a
you're a
very
schmuck.
small pension. Very small
No,
pension.
no. You don't have to tell me that you're a schmuck. If the $10,000 is your life savings and you put it into crypto algorithms, where you, instead of putting into, like, if you will, not that the stock market's any better or a commodity may be better or something, but if you one of those people that put your life savings in here, now you have nothing, schmuck. If it was your Vegas money, and that's why I keep saying that, if it's your Vegas money, if you're like, I blow $10,000 every month gambling, or $10,000 on scotch, cigars, whatever it is, drugs, whatever your thing is, then it's no big deal. You're not going to miss it. Then you're the smartest guy in the room because you're not going to miss it. But if someone's putting their life savings into a crypto algorithm, then you're a schmuck. So that's why when Peter Thiel and Elon Musk and all these guys are talking about, oh, you got to do this, and that's bullshit. You can afford to lose $1 million because you make $1 million a second. So, Peter Thiel's BlockFi is filing bankruptcy. All right, good for you. What is that going to decrease you, from 4 billion to 3.5 billion? I'll cry for you tonight. But somebody who says, I put my whole life savings into it and it went bust, and there was one in Japan that went bust, like MGM or MG or whatever it was called.
Mount Gotex or something.
Yeah, Mount Gotex, they went bust, and people lost everything. Enough. Like,
Yeah.
how stupid do you have to be? If I was going to buy crypto, first of all, it has to be at Goldman Sachs because at least they're going to be there if there's a problem. Or it has to be from a real exchange, not some make believe little, not FTX bullshit or Mountain Gold. Or this is all bullshit. If we're going to do crypto, my opinion, then whether it's the New York, the NASDAQ, or something gets involved, then at least I know if something goes wrong, there's a shot, there's insurance, there's things. But if it's the John, Steve, and David exchange, if we go bust, fuck you, too bad. That's ridiculous. And people fear of missing out. It's okay to miss out because if you don't, you're going to have nothing. Now, all these people that were crypto billionaires that bought all these Lamborghinis and whatever, now
So
what are they going to do?
I'm a mixture then of if I put all my money in the exchange, I'm a mixture of then A, I'm a schmuck. B, I suffer from FOMO,
Right.
and yeah, and C, yeah, I'm just an incredibly gullible person, and I've seen all the advertising, and it all looks nice and shiny and bright, and I want that,
Right.
and I want that lifestyle. So, do I need to have all those three things to step in? I mean,
Sounds like it.
are we all that stupid?
Yes. And you know why? Because the FCA in the UK has made it now when they put crypto ads out, it has to talk about how you can lose every single penny there is. Like
Yeah, but
they don't, you
They
can't,
do that here
I
in
know.
Holland for
But
just for
I will,
normal lending.
right. But I'm just saying, so now they do that with the FCA made them do that. I know that there's certain car dealerships, there's certain places that you can buy your car with crypto and they'll be right on their website. Like, hey, you want to buy whatever, this Lamborghini, the Bugatti, whatever for
Yeah.
crypto. That's awesome. So in my mind, if I'm a car dealership, all I want to know is when you give me that $1 million in crypto, how soon can I convert that? Like I would talk to our banker. I said, hey, listen, if I ever want to do crypto, no, not until it's really regulated. No, we don't, not touching it. Goldman Sachs, of course, will touch everything because that's what they do. But very conservative banks they don't want you to buy it. They don't want you to sell it. They don't want your wallet to touch. They want nothing to do with it. So not that I'm saying having like the FTX would have been a bad thing, but if you're not going to regulate it and you're not going to protect people and you're not going to insure accounts, then I would rather just wait until a real bank or a real investment bank or someone along those lines says, we're Goldman Sachs or we're not that Merrill Lynch is any better, Merrill Lynch, Bank of America, we're going to do a crypto account and this is how it works. It's like your regular savings account, it's insured, yada, 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 up to a certain amount. And they run it like they run a bank, which maybe isn't the good thing for 2008 examples, but they run it proper with real adults in the room, not a bunch of 5-year-olds that are like, oh, I'm a billionaire now. I run it so my clients are safe and my bank makes a profit. Not, hey, can I go buy a $40 million penthouse condo in the Bahamas? In Miami, there's an article also in the FT last week talks about they moved all the crypto events to Miami because that's where everybody wanted to be. And now all the nightclubs that ran 24/7, all these people were getting paid dead, right? Since the collapse of XTX, all these billionaires, they're no more billion. They have no money. So, and who are they going to go after? You're going to sue? Good luck. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I have a problem with all of that.
I think the
Okay, so basically, when my 10,000 euros is gone, but I don't know where, and I never will. Is that what you're saying?
I don't know with the FTX if they're going to be able to find it. I know that they had less assets than liabilities, and I'm not sure how that works because there's no insurance. And John knows a little bit more. But if you have a token and you still can get to your token, in theory, you should be able to take your token and move it to either another exchange, or B, you should be able to go buy or sell it somewhere else. But I'm not sure what happened with everyone's FTX stuff.
But if everybody's doing that, then is that not the same issue as if you have a run on the dollar and because
yeah.
everybody's like
Yeah.
everybody's
If you have-
It's like the stable coin.
cash, and
if you have the
because
FTX token, which is the FTT,
Right.
yeah,
right,
then you're
I don't
fucked.
I don't know who is going to buy that token from
Right.
you, and if they buy that token from you, I'm 99% sure that they're
Steep
gonna give
discount.
you nothing for it, a
Right.
penny or 10
Yeah.
cents or whatever, just
Yeah.
for giggles and kick and
Shits and giggles.
shits and
Yeah.
giggles, right?
Yeah.
Now I don't know if where the FTX token trades other than on the FTX exchange. Maybe it does in other places, but I have a feeling that there's no interest there. So if
Yeah.
you had FTT tokens, I say they're worth zero, right?
Yeah.
Because look at it this way: I start FTX, I start an exchange, I create my own tokens, I sell tokens, I get actual dollars, then I loan those dollars to my hedge fund. They
Right.
go and start trading in crypto. Oh shit! I bought Bitcoin at 64,000. Hey SBF, look, it's down to 16. We need, yeah, but I also put those the Bitcoin that I bought. I put them as collateral for another
Right.
loan that I got from some schmuck bank
Yeah.
that was stupid enough to loan me real dollars. And we bought some more crypto, but it actually went down. Then we also got another loan based on those other crypto. This sort of hypothecation, what is it? What's the word?
Hypothecation. Hypothecation.
Hypothecation. Yeah, it turns into this big thing.
Yeah.
And at some point, we did buy some good real estate in the Bahamas.
Yeah, but for
Uh,
us, not for
yeah,
anybody else, because
yeah,
that's for us. That's our real estate.
yeah. Oh, by the way,
But
that
you,
was customer money. That was customer money.
No
Yeah.
money. Yeah.
Oh,
yeah.
geez,
But
that's
do
supposed
you
to be
think? Do you think that
segregated.
was? Do you think that that's bought with dollars then?
Yeah,
Oh yeah, they
And
bought
not, and
that
not,
with
and
real
not
money. No,
yeah,
the Bahamian government's seizing everything at this point
yeah.
because the
They bought it
Bahamian
with real
government
money.
they bought it with real money, and the Bahamian government like they were banking on crypto to get them to the next level and make it like a hub because it's so close to Miami. And now the Bahamian government, from the articles I'm reading, are not real happy. So I don't know where the guys from FTX are hiding out, whether it's in the States or the Bahamas or I don't know, South America, or maybe Qatar.
Yeah. Look,
But there's somewhere.
he's supposed to come
Argentina.
yeah, no, to the New York Times is doing some kind of a conference, and
Yeah,
he's a featured speaker.
I bet
It's
she's
just
not showing up.
it just blows my mind. How that we haven't arrested this guy. Look,
Wait,
we
wait. How is he? How are
he
these
is
people going
worse.
to get there? They don't have money.
Bernie Madoff. This guy is worse than Madoff. Bernie Madoff
Well, wait a minute. I have
started
friends who
out
got
with a
burnt by Madoff, so
no.
let's not.
Okay,
That's a thin line.
but
So,
okay. Look,
But that's a fascinating story as well, Mr.
look.
Madoff.
yeah,
He started out as as a I think he
a real
started out as
investment guy.
as a legit guy, right?
Yep.
And he got into trouble and he tried to recuperate, and that's when the fraud started.
Right.
The FTX thing, it from the inception of how the business started, you can see that
Right.
it's a load of crock.
But here's what's really funny: all the investors, all these big time investors, like if you
Oh
look at the list, no, I mean I'm talking like Schwarzowitz and thisowith and all these huge mega companies were giving them money and loaning them
yeah,
money, and
yeah,
that goes to a shiny toy, and that's
yeah,
Z Best in the '80s, Enron, the MG Go thing, all this stuff.
yeah,
People's greed take over their common sense. I remember I was on Wall Street in the '80s. There was an analyst who got fired, and I forget what he worked for, but he said the Taj Mahal, Donald Trump's Taj Mahal, was a piece of crap. Was going to be out of business in so many years. It was the worst thing in the world, and he like literally gave you a 5 year projection of nothing. The firm fired him, and literally everything he said happened. Right, how it
yeah,
went
yeah. I
bankrupt.
remember that.
But
Yeah,
but right. So the thing is that the people when you hit a certain amount of money in your bank, you really don't give a shit anymore about, if you will, David with $10,000 life savings. You don't give a shit about John or Steve. None of us, right? You hit a certain amount, you just sell more, 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 more. And as stupid as it is, people put money in because they're like, maybe it'll hit. So if I want to play a maybe it'll hit stock or a maybe it'll hit investment or a maybe hit this, Vegas money. I'm not going to go to Vegas this month. I still feel like I want to gamble. There's my Vegas money. And that's
the
it.
thing is,
And that's how you have to look
yeah,
at this shit.
it's uh, look, the guy that took over for FTX as CEO was the guy that took over Enron after the
Oh
basic,
yeah, I read what he said after he took over.
to liquidate. He's the guy that
Yeah.
liquidated Enron, and he said,
Yep.
"Look, this is even worse than Enron."
Yep.
In his words. So I'll take his words
Yeah. I mean, it's
as
worse
good.
than Enron. That's
Yeah.
really bad because there's
Yeah.
nothing there. It's all make believe.
Yeah,
You
Enron
can't
at
and you
least
can't
had
do
real
make
assets.
believe. Right. At least they had something where this guy has nothing.
Yeah, it's just
Well,
all.
maybe on that complete bombshell that this is all make believe.
Yeah.
That we can say Happy Christmas, New Year, and everything else to our listeners,
Yes.
and to thank John for tearing him away. I just got a thing. I think it's 1-0 to the Netherlands at halftime, John. If you're not watching
Yes,
it,
it is. Yeah,
it is. Yeah, I
it's
just got that
1-0
in from him.
Netherlands Qatar. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, wow, is all I can say to that against Qatar. Thank you, Stephen, for being with us this year. Thank you, John, for stepping in.
Actually,
At the last
this
minute.
show is just so we know, this show is so interesting. It's going to go up today. We're not even going to wait till the 20th. That's how interesting this show is. We're going to make sure that people get it. So, John, you're going to have to come back for the end of the year show. Sorry.
Very well.
I was just hoping that I was just trying to do the right and proper thing and to close the show off properly. But
we'll close it. It's good. You can close it properly. And we got another. I don't know if you know, but we have another show coming up right after this. I was just told by Miss Wild. So we're going to kick John out and do another show that's going to air today as well. So today we have lots of shows airing. Yeah, I just found out. It's okay. Don't worry.
Okay. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
We'll see you. We're going to see you on Zoom. Everybody, thank you for listening. John, why don't you come back in 2 weeks and we'll close out the year on a live show? What do you think?
All right. Sounds good.
All right, buddy. Stay on a little bit. John. Everyone, thanks for listening.
Good seeing you.
Thank you, John. Wonderful to see you again. Yeah.